Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's your man Earl, episode 193 on the docket. Today is July 12th, Wednesday, and let's jump right into it. Setting yourself apart. Setting yourself apart, not in a egotistical way, not in a overlord way, not in a perfunctory way, not in a prideful way, not in a way that my nose is up and I'm looking down on everybody else, not in a way of me thinking I'm better than everybody else, not in a way that I think I am God's gift to earth. No, I'm talking about how do you know in a humble way that you can set yourself apart and keep your heart, your mind, and your spirit pure unto the Lord. Let me give you the secret. You ready for this? You have to understand what it means to become successful. I'm going to say it again. You have to understand what it means to become successful and how do you begin to achieve your dreams, goals, and ambitions. Well, Earl, you talk a lot about dreams, goals, and ambitions. Earl, you talk a lot about success. Earl, you talk a lot about that stuff. That's right. I also talk about the Word of God. But a person, most of the time, only hears what is in interest to them or what gives them an advantage, so to speak, that they think. So I'm okay with you thinking that I talk about success. Some people say, Earl, you talk about money. Not really. Earl, you talk about what I talk about is success principles from the scriptures. That's what I talk about. And I'm about to give you a secret on how do you set yourself apart in a humble way. Are you ready? Okay. Listen very closely and I'm done. Did you know that only 33% of so-called Americans have a plan for their life? Listen now, that they have committed to in writing. What do I always say? Write your plan. What do I always say? Journal. What do I always say? Write your objectives down. What do I always say? Journal. What do I always say? Write down your plan. I'm being quiet on purpose and I'm being redundant on purpose. Only 33% of people have a written life plan that they use to do what? Guide them through life. Why do you need a guide? Because you have to be able to make it through the ups and downs that life will hand you. You hear me say this all the time. You cannot control how people treat you. You only you cannot control how people treat you. You only can control how you respond. And one secret, one tip is when you have a written plan, it helps you maneuver. It is a guide that allows you to sustain the bumps and the bruises, the mistakes, the errors that you're going to experience through life. I'm going to say it again. Only 33% of so-called Americans have a life plan that is what? Written down that they look at consistently as a guide. Don't trust your mind. Don't trust your heart. I'm going to say it again. Don't trust your mind. Don't trust your heart. Only 33% of so-called Americans have a written life plan. So, Earl, what are you saying? You can set yourself apart in a humble way by getting serious about writing down where you want to go and who you want to become and what you want to do. I'm going to say it again. You can set yourself apart by writing down where you want to go, who you want to become, and how you want to get there. You set yourself apart by writing a plan for your life, which means you have a plan for your business, which means you have a plan for your children, which means you have a plan for your marriage, which means you have a plan for your church, because you have taken the time. Let me slow down. I'm getting excited. Because you have taken the time to think about where you want to go. You have taken the time to think about how you want to get there, otherwise known as the vehicle of choice. And you have taken the time on what is the means of how you're going to get there. Now, short, sweet, to the point. How do you set yourself apart? How do you set yourself apart? Understand that once you begin to write things down and you go back and you refer and you reflect and you meditate and you study your plan, you set yourself apart. You automatically catapult yourself out of the status quo. You catapult yourself out of the 66+% of people who are simply wandering through life, responding to what happens to them. You become an individual that's in the driver's seat. This is your man Earl, episode 193, How to Set Yourself Apart. I don't say things just to be saying, okay? I look at research, I look at studies, I look at people who are successful, I look at people who have failed, I look at people who are productive, I look at people who are not so productive, I look at people who have hit it one time big, and I look at people who have taken 5, 10, 20, 30 years to become successful. So understand, what you're hearing is a summation of years of reading, studying, following, reading, studying, following, prayer, meditation, letting the Most High God speak back to me and helping me put together a plan that is most productive for my life, that gives Him all the glory. God bless you. God keep you. Episode 193 on the docket. How to set yourself apart. Peace.